Welcome, everybody. Here we are, another episode of Mostly Business, our show where we talk about business. A lot of times we talk about sports, we talk about music, wine, wherever else we go with it. And we do it usually every other Wednesday. So here we are, another Wednesday, and we're glad to have everybody with us. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, my friend. I think it's going to be our best show of 2025. I
I
feel
think
it.
it. I think it might be. I think we got a
Tell
lot
you.
of good stuff to get into today. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Last week I wasn't so good. I was like stressing out about some things and had a lot going on. And that like
Really?
middle of the week, yeah, it was just like we're still getting back in the swing of things. But this week has already
Yeah.
been much better overall. So
Yeah.
I'm in spirits are high. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, man. You know, sometimes we just have days like that. There's somebody I follow. I forget who it was, a podcaster or somebody. I don't know. Somebody had a post on Instagram saying he's just having one of those days where he's just sitting in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven, listening to music, feeling lonely. And I was like, I guess we all have those 7-Eleven parking lot kind of days every once in a while.
It's one of those days where it's not even like you're sitting in the parking lot. Like you go to the grocery store and you just spend an extra 2 minutes in the car sitting there doing nothing before you go in. Those are the days that I'll have. It's like I just need a moment to just chill. Yeah. Life's good though overall.
I think if you sit in the parking lot though at a store, that probably means you got a lot of kids at home. Is that fair to say that correlates?
Yeah, because you have less. Yeah, it probably correlates because you have less like space at home. You know, I'm not like hiding from my wife or anything. You know, but more of it's just like so nobody's. Yeah, it has to be with kids, dude, because it's like nobody's gonna ask me questions in the car.
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone to think out there that I don't love my kids. Okay.
You just got to be careful when you're sitting in the parking lot that, nobody thinks you're doing anything weird. Like keep your hands visible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just got to keep your hands above the window line.
Yep. You do. When you're in there, you just
see now I'm the guy.
Keep your hands on the wheel while you're sitting there,
or just like have your hand on the wheel with your phone. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. Now, see, I'm the guy at the grocery store thinking, how can I break my all-time speed record and be out of here in like the quickest possible time? So I like race through the store. I'm out like that.
That's how I feel about Costco. Because whenever I have to like prepare myself mentally to go into Costco sometimes if it's on a weekend. Because if I get in there without like my plan fully thought out in my head, I'm not a big.
Yeah.
I sometimes make lists, but sometimes I don't. If I go in there I'll leave with half the stuff or twice the stuff that I wanted to get, like because there's so many people and they're just terrible at walking.
Yeah.
And you're just like have to like move fast.
Well, I sometimes I like the grocery store, but on a regular basis, I'll like usually once a week we'll use the Shipt app to just have groceries delivered to us, which is nice. They have like, you get a shopper, they go in, they do your shopping for you, they bring it to your house, right? Leave it on the porch. You don't have to see them. And then, what I try and tell myself is that the increased cost of that is probably more than offset by like, I'm not buying stuff that I didn't plan on buying while I'm there,
I agree.
Nice.
But they kept messing my stuff up. I used Instacart for a while, especially when like everyone was freaking out about COVID at the beginning. So we're like, all right, well, let's start using Instacart. And they kept messing up our order or like replacing things that like are not comparable to like what I wanted. And then a couple times, I'd say twice, I got the complete wrong order. I got one time I was like, cool, the groceries are here. I went outside and it was just like 4 bags of sweetened condensed milk.
I've never had that problem, but with the Shipt app, you're getting, if you have your settings correct, you can set it up so that like if there's a substitution, they ask you what you want instead of this. Do you want this or this instead of that, or do you want me to just skip it? And I don't have any problems with it at all. Like very rarely do I have any problem with it. It's actually a great experience.
Even like fruits and vegetables, like you don't get like borderline. Okay.
Yeah, usually works pretty good. Yeah, but like I use Dierbergs, so I think like maybe the quality is a little better or something. I don't know, but it's certainly not cheap. But it saves a lot of time and energy too. And like when you got a bunch of kids, when you got work you're doing, when you got things you want to do, like the whole grocery shopping thing is not. I mean, if you can spend an extra $20 to have it done for you, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, the $20 doesn't bother me at all. It's just If they get my stuff right, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, if you guys are still going, Ryan, if you with all the kids you have, if you guys are still going grocery shopping, I would give it another try. But I wouldn't use Instacart. I would use Shipt. That's where I've had a good experience.
I've never even heard of Shipt, to be honest.
Shipt is for the ballers.
It's the elite one. Maybe that's why I haven't heard of it. Yeah.
That's probably why.
Thanks, Josh. You let out an industry secret.
Yeah.
I do need to go. I do go by myself. So like, at least the grocery shop, and I don't like. We typically don't go as a family, which is wild to me that people do that. Like that doesn't seem like a 2-adult trip. You know what I mean? Unless it's like
it just gives you something to do on like a rainy, nasty Saturday morning when you're like, what do we do with these kids? Like, let's just take them to the grocery store.
Oh man, I hate them there. Like, the amount of stuff that I buy, if I will spend at least 35-40% more if I go. I'll be buying dumb shit like big ass boxes of Cheez-Its, any popsicle you could think of, a watermelon that they won't eat because they asked me for it and it's a fruit instead of candy or something. Like I'll buy, and it'll leave with a watermelon, a pineapple, any fruit that's cool looking. Yeah. Because they just want to get something.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out, buddy. On to our agenda for today. We got a few business things to talk about, some sports stuff, some wine stuff, some music stuff. So we better get rolling. One thing is for everybody who's in our community already knows that we have just announced that we now are offering an on-demand version of our LinkedIn Accelerator, which is our hybrid training / done with you LinkedIn training program to implement my system for getting more leads and clients on LinkedIn. And that's going really well so far. Really excited about that. And we're doing a 50% off sale this week, just as a thank you to everybody for following along for all the years, everyone who's on our list and everything like that. And so it's a great opportunity to get that and get in on some more leads for this year. Tim, I know you're excited about it. You're going to be working with all the folks who join.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be doing something a little different per you, Josh. So, this is something we really haven't done except for people who paid for an extra bonus. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to work together one-on-one with what Josh is talking about with myself personally. So we're going to be sitting down and figure out a system basically where you are having for your business a stream of roughly 150 or so new prospects going into your marketing system. And I'm going to show you how they're going to hear from you in a very delicate way for the next year. And what's going to happen? You're going to be getting discovery calls virtually every single, depends where these 150 people are going to be in a marketing sequence. So it's a great opportunity. And something I want you to think about is, anybody who's listening right now is, what is the value just of one client for you? What is the lifetime value of that? And if your answer is, let's just say it's $5,000, $10,000, whatever it may be, this program, we're doing it for very, very inexpensive. So check it out, Ryan. I don't know if you have it handy to put it on the screen. If you don't, that's okay too. But we'll work together one-on-one over a period of about 6 weeks. We're going to do these few calls and we're going to get you rolling. I'm going to tell you, I am not overly a technology person, and this system is super easy for guys like me. Middle-aged guys aren't great with technology. I can do this system in my sleep. So if you don't have, for example, 100 or 150 new prospects coming in the door every month, I really hope you join us, and I'll be excited to work with you.
So go to our Substack for more info on that. And this is something that the last time we ran the LinkedIn Accelerator program was last summer. And because I get messages from people all the time wanting LinkedIn training, and we turn them away because we don't have anything current at the time outside of this annual program. I decided to make it evergreen and on demand. So this new on-demand version is here, but it's a lot more, as Tim talked about, it's a lot more than just like, getting access to some training modules and watch some videos. It's a lot more than that, because you're going to get to work with us one-on-one to make sure it's customized for your situation. So pretty sweet. And a lot of people say that our LinkedIn system is the best and most effective that's out there. So you are in good hands. If you need more leads, LinkedIn is really the best place to be focused, and our stuff gets results. So check it out. Look forward to having everyone be part of that who it is a good fit for. And that's what we've been up to this week in our business. I know, Ryan, you said you got some Instagram marketing stuff to talk about today, and I have no idea what it's going to be. And so I'm looking forward to it. And Instagram is a wild place. Let me just say that first. So, I don't know where this is going, but let's try and keep it PG for all the kids who are.
It'll be PG. There'll be no like, we're not talking booty pics here. Well, here's like some background of why I even put it on there is because I had to do I was asked to do an audit of a social media marketing strategy where the client had like 1 million Instagram followers. Now I'm familiar with Instagram, like personally. I use it for like blogs that I've done and stuff, and I've used it for businesses, but wouldn't call myself like full on expert in it. So like I was researching what was like best practices, and that's how it ties in with other social media networks. And then I noticed that like Adam Massari, hold on, let me pull up on my notes because I don't have anything to share. He's the actually, I don't even know what his position is. He's like high up at Instagram. He's one of their chief positions. And so he's been posting on his Instagram account videos like every other day or every day about like based on how their algorithm works and what they know that works as a platform, what should you be doing on Instagram to grow your following and to get more attention, not necessarily how to sell from it, but how to get more attention. So I figured since I took a ton of notes, like an absurd amount of notes, I figured I'd share kind of like what I thought were the key parts of it. So first off, like what he wants to make like clear when he was discussing this, and this is, I don't know, to me it seems obvious, but he wanted to make sure everyone knows what he's talking about, is there are two types of reach. The way they define it internally on Instagram is connected reach and unconnected reach. So connected reach is people that follow you, unconnected reach is people that do not follow you. But like the way you reach different people, like the connected reach versus unconnected reach is different. So, but there are like really, when Instagram is deciding their algorithms to push out, specifically with video, because that's their main focus now is pushing more and more video. A lot of it has to do with what's going on with TikTok, which is back, but who knows for how long. And then, but they really want it to become like more and more, which it already is, like a video platform. So, there are like 3 categories. So like number one thing you're going to want to focus on, like when you're optimizing things, is watch time. Like, so how much does your video actually watch? Because if people are not watching the video, regardless if they interact with it, if they don't watch a significant portion of it, they'll think that interaction was like not genuine and it won't count essentially. So, there's no real insight other than like find the videos that people are watching and replicate in your marketing and replicate that. Likes per reach and sends per reach. So like likes per reach will help it help it get in front of more of your connected audience, the people that are following you, and then send, so people sending it to other people and send them in stories or DMs, then that will help Instagram know to push it to other people because people are sharing it out, which I thought was interesting. But that's just a very short version of kind of like the high level of it. But then the best practices are all, I think they're interesting. But so like the best practices for marketing reels on LinkedIn. I should have put together a little thing for this so people have something to look at. But either way, the notes he said that videos that are under 3 minutes long perform by far the best on the platform and get pushed more by the algorithm. Any video that has a watermark or a logo on it isn't necessarily suppressed, but it won't be pushed by their algorithm to new audiences. So that's like if you have branded videos, they're not gonna get pushed to new audiences. They're not gonna help you grow your following. At the same time, if you like reshare videos, if you do use TikTok or tools like that automatically put like the social media site's watermark on your video, that is not going to work well on their platform. I think that's probably the main reason they're doing it.
Well, that's getting pretty in the weeds. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, to be honest.
Well, like if you're doing videos on Instagram, don't put logos on it. That's the thing. But yeah, so the most important thing that he brought up. So I'll keep it. I'll keep it short. No watermark, under 3 minutes. post on a specific theme, which is obvious, and post consistently were like the 4 things that he talked about. But the coolest thing that I wanted to bring up that I think everyone should be doing, and I didn't know this existed, I guess it came out a month ago, was something called trial reels. So if you post a video, let's just say Josh, you had 50,000 followers on Instagram and you wanted to post a video, you could do a trial reel that is only sent to people that don't know you. So you can test out a video to people that don't know you, a fresh audience. If they react well to it, then you can push it to your own people. And that seems like a no-brainer way. Like if you're like forcing it to show it to new people, it seems like a no-brainer thing to do. And then you don't have to annoy the people that do follow you.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think is the best way for like so many of our clients don't really do anything with Instagram because it's like not really a B2B kind of place, you know? So like what do you do if you're like really kind of more of a B2B business, is like a service provider, like let's say like a, you know, an IT company. I'm just using an example for one of the people who joined our LinkedIn Accelerator this morning is the co-founder of a company that does like security, IT kind of stuff. So they're selling into big businesses basically, you know, and you're not going to like, the strategy has got to be totally different. I would think maybe retargeting in a sense, but is there really much to do for them on Instagram?
No, not really. Like if they're in that kind of business that's selling to like larger businesses, I mean, I wouldn't make it a priority. But here's the thing, like the way I view it and one of the recommendations that I've been giving people when it's brought up, because I've been giving more people have been asking me to help with LinkedIn than stuff like Instagram. It's like, well, you're already creating if you're already creating content for LinkedIn, let's just say they're creating videos for LinkedIn, whether that's talking about customers, success stories, shit that they do, trends, whatever. Like there's no purpose in there's no reason to not repurpose it on Instagram, because it takes 2 seconds, especially if you're using like a social media tool, to put it there too. For anything other than, if not for anything other than it's another like listing with your brand in it for search results. But well, the way I think people should be handling video for regardless of brand is essentially figure out like what are the best practices for all video for different social networks. So LinkedIn, you know, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And then figure out like what's common about them, and figure out and like skew towards what's like let's just say they would be better using LinkedIn, obviously. So what if LinkedIn videos say there should be 5 minutes or less, and Instagram says they should be 3 minutes or less, and whatever, figure out what like a right balance of it, skewed towards your preferred social media network, but do it in a way that like isn't hampering you elsewhere. And then just use the same videos everywhere, because there's no point in like recreating content for each different social network based exactly what they want. There's no point, unless you're like a weird media brand and that's what you do, you know, like that's how you make money, is getting reach on there. So no, I wouldn't do that. In terms of using Instagram for ads in that scenario, then yes, I would definitely do retargeting, mainly because you could get your prospect for top of mind, staying top of mind, not necessarily for conversions, but getting in front of them when your prospect's not thinking about work, and just staying in front of them again. So whenever they do log on to LinkedIn or check their email or whatever, that they like, oh yeah, it's that guy, I saw him on Instagram. But I wouldn't use cold audiences for that, because it would be a big waste of time, personally.
Yeah.
Ryan, how long do the reels stay up? Because it seems like they're pretty quick, right?
Well, they don't go away.
No. Okay.
You might be talking about stories, which are like, those go away in I think 24 hours. So you can like, they're usually, and they're like the guy did mention, and that like you want to use reels to try to grow your audience, and you want to use stories to engage your existing audience. Because for anybody that doesn't use Instagram, what's interesting about stories is when they log into Instagram, anybody that's recently updated a story shows up at the top of their feed, like their profile picture with like a circle around it. So you can click like, oh yeah, I love that guy. So even if they haven't seen your reels in a while, because they've just been watching, I don't know, fishing videos, and you do something different than that, they'll see that you posted something like, and they'll click that, and it can re-engage your existing audience. But like, it's really difficult. I think the trial reels thing is cool and valuable, because it's very difficult to grow an audience on any social network now that's been around for a while, because people aren't just going, when something's new, people are hopping in and following everyone that they find interesting. Like I'm on Instagram. I can't remember the last time I followed a brand from my personal Instagram account, you know? So,
don't you have to use a a lot of hashtags in that too, right? To attract more people.
There's like conflicting information on that, so I don't really know. Yeah, I would just because, but I think they're trying to get away from that because it's just tacky to like. I think Instagram is trying to not reward that because, you do a post. There's no reason that like it should be more valuable to add like 40 hashtags below it, just so you show up in all these different feeds. So I think they're trying to make their algorithm smarter than people.
Yeah, that seems kind of silly nowadays.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Didn't know. I'm learning.
Yeah, I thought the trial reads was the same. Oh, and one other thing that he mentioned is like people's Instagram feeds are currently designed to show 50% of people that they currently know and 50% of people that they don't follow. So so like you need to like if you are going to add text to your videos, this is one like reading between the lines is you need to try to get people to share it, which is not new, but you need to be directly asking people to do it. So like sharing it either on their story or to somebody else that their DM. So like, because that's the only way you're going to reach new people. If people are just liking it and commenting on it, it doesn't necessarily meet new people. People have to be sharing it, which is, I thought was interesting, but it's, I mean, it's difficult to do if you're just getting started, or if you have like a B2B brand like IT, like it's not the same thing as like becoming a content creator.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Just some Instagram tips because I've been looking into it a bunch.
Instagram, it's a wild world, like I said. So hopefully these tips will allow everybody to really take advantage of Instagram, take their business to the next level. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the next level, one of the things that is a big topic of conversation these days, and has been for a while post COVID, is the whole topic of working at home. Friend that I know recently took his company completely in person. Used to be remote, built it to a good sized company remote, and then said, we're going to change this culture. And we're going to have a in-person work environment. Got a big office in Texas. Everybody now comes into the office all day long, and he has reported really great results with it. This is a big topic right now, of course, because the U.S. government is now requiring workers to go back to the office. I don't know what the timetable is on that, but apparently a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people who were allowed to go work from home when COVID started, now 5 years later, maybe it is time to come back to the office now. Seems like COVID's over. But in any event, aside from the government, it's always a hot topic. Even what it was for me growing my business. And the question for people who are growing or in this predicament is like, if you're, what's better for growing a smaller business? I mean, is it working from home or having an office? And especially when it comes to like marketing and sales staff, my opinion is that having an office is really, really important if you're building a team, if you've got full-time employees. Of course, now if you've got contractors, that's a different type of story, right? But like to build a sales team that is remote is like, man, that it's tough. It can be done. And this is the kind of thing that's like different for everybody. There's no right or wrong. But I know from like our experience of, growing Linked Selling and the other companies that we started along the way, for the first, many years, we were all in the office and I don't think we weren't hiring any remote employees for a long time. And I think that was a huge benefit to us from the beginning, like, and you just can't, you just can't get build the same kind of culture when everybody is remote,
I agree.
And the bottom line, and then you don't get the same kind of like, if people are, one of the things that you'll hear from people is that like, if you're, for like marketing staff or, customer service folks and things like that, it's like, well, but if they're doing their jobs, if they're getting the things done that you're asking them to get done, who cares where they're at? But one of the reasons is because like when they have to come in and spend the time with everybody and stretch out their feet, we all know they don't have 8 hours of work to do in a day, but you do get benefit from them being there for the extra 4 hours a day that they aren't actually doing anything in the office, and forcing people to like, they'll think about things. And they'll sit there and like maybe come up with some new ideas every once in a while, or like whatever, as opposed to like working it from home, getting the work done that they have to get done in order to like check off all the boxes of like, I'm doing my job, So there's a lot of like intangible benefits like that to coming into the office, and especially sales staff is huge. And the bottom line though, across all for any of it, is that like most people are stinkers and rascals, and they will take advantage of working from home in a pretty significant way. And so, I've never been a fan of it, except that when we spun off Connect 365 into its own thing, eventually that went totally remote, but we had already built the company and culture, had our people, had our processes. And so it was kind of a different thing. But the world has changed, because at the same time, our developers, they were worked remote. We had guys in India and stuff that were, wouldn't have been practical to make them come into the office every day, but that's a little bit different, So anyways, what do you guys think?
I think first of all, I agree with you, especially, to me, I think the important thing is, if let's just say someone's watched this and they're like, okay, I'm about to start hiring people and start growing, or they or they're in that situation, I would always start in an office if you can afford it, for that reason. Because for the main reason is, if you create a culture that is like a remote working business, it's difficult to backtrack that, because people will get used to it. Like, to me, it'd be very difficult for me to have an office job where I went in all the time, because I have like my own routines and my own setup, and I'd need, like, I'm used to that. It's like distracting to be in an office. But like, I had no problem going, if you change your mind on the road and decide like, okay, I'm going to switch to like more remote or a hybrid style business, then nobody seems to like get upset about that. Like, you're not going to lose people from that. So I would definitely do that. But I agree that, like, in general, that people get a lot more done in the office. I especially think if you have like younger staff that like they can kind of bond. Like, it's difficult as people get older, they don't care as much. They're not trying to go out as people have kids and families, because they have to be home by a certain time. But before that, like, I loved working at the office, at least selling, when I was like in my 20s, because I don't know, we'd go have drinks after work. We'd hang out, even just if we didn't go get drinks, just hang out in the office for a little bit after work. And we played Mario Kart every day for lunch, like, and there's a lot of
to build relationships with people, and that makes a big difference too towards building the culture and moving things forward.
Yeah, and if you want people to be friends, then in the office is much better. If the culture is like, get your work done and that's all, like, and if your culture is like just freedom, like you have all this time freedom, then maybe remote's better. But no, and if you want people to become friends and like, I do think it also is a more innovative thing, because like, you can have casual conversations with people, instead of like every meeting with a remote company is predetermined to what we're going to talk about. Like, you don't have just like random bump-ins with people.
I think with every company, it's kind of a case-by-case thing, who can work from home and who can, and what type of industry. For me personally, I'm incredibly biased here, because I've been home-based except for 3 years since 1990. So for me, it's all I know, and I absolutely love it. But I think I can give you an example with my wife at the state of California. They went after COVID. They decided, first it was all working from home, and then what they did is, for most departments, it was 3 out of 5 days that you had to go into the office. And the only mandatory day, so they made sure if they wanted to have team meetings, I think it's a great example, is nobody could take Wednesday working from home. So in other words, you plan all team things on Wednesday. And, some people would pick, most people pick Tuesday. Wife, for example, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, she had the whole office to herself and liked it. And then by the time Wednesday came, she was, at home for 4 days. So I thought that was a great solution what the state of California did, but that would be nice. Probably to me a fairly ideal situation, because there's obviously people are stinkers, but there's definitely pros and cons to working from home.
For sure.
I don't like grocery shopping on a Tuesday with all the employees,
and all three of us. working from home is like far better than going into an office. But like, if you're building a company, that the people would rather work at home so that they can like spend some of their time putting their grocery order together. But and doing their laundry and going and checking the mail and all the things that people do when they're working from home, and taking a shower, watching a show, we could keep going. But if you're building a company though, you just make that decision of what kind of a company are we building here. And like, I do like though, even if you're like, I'm going to have this, we're going to build culture is a big deal, and we can't do it with people remote. We need people being collaborating. That's such a huge part of being together. Like, collaboration is really difficult remote because you just don't get the same kind of like, you bump into somebody at the cooler and they're, or the fridge or whatever, and then you start shooting the shit about something you're working on. And like, that stuff just doesn't happen when you're remote, and all that stuff's important.
And in person, you've like locked in attention. Like if someone's in a meeting and in person, there's chances are they're paying attention.
Yeah.
Like everyone's sitting there looking at each other.
Yeah.
You can even be collaborating on something and unintentionally someone gets distracted for 2 minutes. They have no idea what you're talking about. They're trying to get caught up. So they're not going to contribute into that part of the conversation. I think that is because we'd have these meetings all the time with things on Connect 365. I'd like want to talk about like launch, like, like different things or different like angles and, kind of, and I would come with ideas. And I could just tell every now and then, I'm like, damn, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And even though I just explained it, because that question made no sense what they just asked me. And they're just trying to get caught back up. So they weren't paying attention. And that kind of derails the whole thing.
Whatever. Yeah. They're looking at something else on the internet while you're talking, all that stuff. Yeah. But to Tim's point, though, there's a hybrid. There's a kind of a let's meet in the middle thing, like where they say we come in 3 or 4 days a week. That's one option. That's nice. And generally speaking, like I think for almost every company, like the workday ends at 1 o'clock, maybe even noon. Call it noon. Why have a fucking lunch on Friday? Let's just say the work week ends at noon on Friday because nobody's doing anything Friday afternoon. Like people are just hanging out.
Or they're begrudgingly doing something because somebody made them do it on a Friday.
Maybe if somebody came in on it and was like, you got to do this thing Friday to get this done. Like, there's in my experience, most people are not doing much on Friday afternoon, including me.
I know a lot of people do that in the summer. There are companies that do it in the summer where like it is straight up like they have summer hours of work and everyone's off. They want everyone off at noon at like at lunchtime on Friday. And I think it's probably for that reason. Yeah. And then people love it because then they get to go hang out and do something, get stuff done, go spend some time outside, whatever you're trying to do.
That's an easy win because people love it and they're already taking off that time for the most part anyways, So that's a good, another way to look at the hybrid approach to it.
And then it's less of an issue if you have like, because every job has moments where like you're grinding. Like for us, it'd be like launches like of new products or new things. It'd be like a grind month. Yeah. For like my wife who's in finance, they'll have like different periods of like closing books where it's like it's a whole grind for them.
Right.
And but if you're giving them half days on Fridays, then when that happens, like that's kind of filling in for it.
Yeah. Well, just something to think about. It made its way into our show today because it's been such a hot topic lately with the stuff going on with the government. But
I do think that more companies will adopt that because of the policy. And like they'll probably relax some of their like diversity programs, like not just government organizations, but they'll use it as a like this is the time if you are going to change things that might be publicly controversial, like and people wouldn't like. Now's the time to do it if you're a big company because everyone is going to be doing it, and so you can't get pinpointed as like, oh, Amazon stopped doing this one thing. Yeah, it's like no, like half of the Fortune 500 did. So the outrage is shared.
A lot of companies are doing it for sure, and there's always a pendulum with things like that. We lost Tim at such a critical moment. I hope he comes back, but. The other thing that's been in the news big time lately and seems like now always in the news, like the hottest topic all over the place is all the AI stuff. Now this week it's this DeepSeek thing, which quick recap on that. Cheaper competitor to the other AIs. It's from China though, so China bad. So we don't like that. And everyone freaked out for a little bit, and then carried on, kept moving forward after that.
I think the important thing with the DeepSeek thing, so if anyone doesn't know, like it's a Chinese AI tool that's a competitor to like all of like ChatGPT and all of that. It's apparently incredibly more efficient, so they don't need the expensive chips that go into like a lot of the AI that we do now, like the stuff that like that's why Nvidia stock fell so much, which is something that I feel like everyone's invested in. But I think the important thing is I don't think DeepSeek is an actual threat because I don't think it's going to stay legal in America. Like if like they consider banning TikTok or because it's a Chinese owned company, like what do you really anticipate the US government allowing a Chinese artificial intelligence tool to be, like I guarantee it's gone. Tim's gone too. Again,
I don't know what happened to Tim. All of a sudden, it looked like he punched his camera and things just kind of fell.
Yeah, he's a big DeepSeek guy. He didn't like what I just had to say. But like, here's the thing that I thought was interesting. And there's like an article, which actually I don't have pulled up and I should. The article, it was from like from martech.org. But if the United States, like if the current like leaders in AI in the United States can adopt the similar technology and make things more efficiently, will it cost as much to plug smaller softwares like SaaS companies that plug into these AIs for different tools? Will it like lower the cost? And I think it probably will dramatically, because it will cause if it costs them less money to run like whatever. I won't pretend to understand the back end of what chips are used for in AI, but if it makes it cheaper,
they need a ton of processing speed. It's just it's a very complex program that's running.
Yeah, but it'd be great if they're like because I know that if you have like let's just say we built an AI tool that was plugged into ChatGPT and Claude and all those, you have to pay for access to their AI and for like the API calls. So that's why most of the time when you're buying anything, it's like token based. It's like you know X amount of calls or X amount of uses, because that's what how they're getting charged. Yeah. And so I bet you if OpenAI could change the way some of the things are set up and use like substantially less expensive technology to get the same or better result, then I think it'll be a big win for everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe the first step in the process, but eventually where it's going is that it's gonna displace a lot of marketing professionals who will no longer be needed because the AI tools will do their work. And so it goes from like tools that do things for us to like more like AI agents. So instead of, you need you need someone to like, run a bunch of LinkedIn ads for your clients, right? Well, now instead of hiring an employee who's $100,000 a year, you hire the, ad management agent that, OpenAI sells for $2,500 a month, and that's where it's going. And so then the world of marketing ends up being more so people who are managing those tools, managing the agents, as opposed to the actual work itself of all the different tasks that go on in marketing and such. I mean, that's what's already happening in in development. So coding, software development, all that kind of stuff is, those people are being, they will become obsolete because the tools can write the code. We don't need people to write the code anymore. What we need are people who can manage the tools and review the work that the tools do. So it's like the software engineers become more like managers of the AI at that point. But I heard a really interesting thing from Mark Andreessen on some podcast, who he's pretty well studied on this stuff. So he runs a big VC firm that has invested in like everything. Very successful in the tech space. And he says there will actually be an exploding demand for tech jobs because but they're going to be different kinds. They're going to be more like the kind that I just talked about, but the market's going to explode with all this AI stuff. And so we're going to need even more people than are in the space now, but they're just going to be doing different kinds of things, which is interesting. And so the writing's on the wall. The same thing will happen in the marketing world.
Yeah, I actually wrote a newsletter on this recently because I think I did a lot of research on this too, just to make sure that the things that I was working on when I was creating stuff for like the consulting business and suggestions I was giving people were not essentially giving them like things that are like suggestions that'll be replaced in like a year. So I did a lot of research on like this and like thought about it a lot. And what's really clear in terms of marketing and even the tech jobs you're talking about is like strategy, or people that understand strategy and know the ins and outs of a business and are good at designing and communicating strategic initiatives are going to be like in massive demand. And whether that and they need to have some expertise in the area. So like technology, for example, if somebody was a developer and they were very good at it, but they're more than just like a like, I know the term developer uses like a code monkey, like they're not just typing in code. They're like, they understand like the strategy behind it and they understand the languages that are being used. They'll be like absurdly valuable because their output that they're currently doing can like 10x if they're not actually doing it. They're just managing it and editing it and then communicating changes and communicating the initial strategy and understanding how to do that. I think it's going to be crazy. Now, and there'll be a bunch of jobs that come up that we aren't even thinking about yet, which is probably what the person you referenced was talking about. But the same thing with marketing. Like you could get a lot of really cool things out of AI, but not if you're just typing in vague. Like you need to have a bunch of like the strategy figured out of what you want to do. If you ask it to give you a strategy, it's regardless of what model you've used, because I've like tested it to see, it's all just aggregate ideas that they found on blog posts and stuff.
Right.
You know, like it's not anything that's innovative. It's not anything that's like it's best practices in general.
Well, that's because the tools, the software is not there yet. I mean, that's why in a lot of ways, like all the hype about AI right now is not delivering on it. You know, like we taught in Influence Engine, we taught about some very specific use cases that are actually very effective right now and working. But broadly speaking, it's like a glorified search engine right now, right?
For the most part, and they like, or like a glorified like document editor, you know, a chatbot or document editor. But the people that are doing well with it are the people that like already kind of know what they want to do, and it's allowing them to do it faster. And so it's using it as a tool instead of replacing your own brain with like what a ChatGPT says. Because there are just I see these mindless people on you know, on social media talking about like arguing with people, be like, well, ChatGPT said to do this, so you're wrong. Like you really have no like autonomous thinking at all. You're just you're getting fed information. It's not good. The people that can come up with good ideas and then come up with like the right way of describing it to have AI do it faster are going to be the ones who like win right now. And it's like in every industry, like in every, like, I guess, I can't like capability. I'm not sure the right term I'm missing, but that's what people need to be working on, is understanding like coming up with big ideas, coming up with big strategies, coming up with all of the details, everything that could go wrong with it, being able to communicate that, as well as communicating like the strengths of your business, the weaknesses of your business, the assets that you have, the tools that you use. And like, so it's not going to spit out suggestions that cause a lot more work. It's going to like create initiatives that like fit with what you already do. And I think like that's been my number one focus, is how to like dial that in. Because I think I've seen a lot of people writing about it, and I completely agree. It's like, this is where it's going from a marketing standpoint. And I think with other industries too, but you know, that's the one.
So the more information, the better when using it.
More information, the better. And the clearer it's described, and the less figuring out the right way to leave it not open to interpretation where needed, and where you want it to be open to interpretation because you don't have something figured out, to see if AI can fill in the blank with a good idea, like within the strategy.
So, and so for anybody who's seen the news this week about DeepSeek and all the, you know, there's a variety of tools right now. What's your opinion on like which one most people should just stick with, the main one of what, ChatGPT, or what?
I think they should just stick with one and then figure out how to use it. I don't think there's massive.
Which one do you see most people using
ChatGPT
right now?
by a lot. Now people will jump to this one and try. I had a call with my buddy yesterday. We meet every other
Yeah.
week or so, and he was using DeepSeek. He says it's really good, but I feel like if you're jumping back and forth between tools and just testing out the same stuff you did
Yeah.
here versus here, you're like duplicating your efforts.
Right.
Just find one that is mainstream and
Yeah.
use it. And that's what
Yeah.
that's what I think. Now, if one comes out and it's like everyone is like it's a because even like let's just say DeepSeek is better than ChatGPT at the moment, and it is free. Well, ChatGPT is going to eventually. I mean, they're not going to just sit there and allow that. It's going to either get caught up. It's to use the one you're comfortable using and then
Right.
put time into. What I view.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. I wouldn't bounce around either.
Yeah, I like to look at it the same way I look at it. Like anytime new stuff comes out, and we still have years and years in front of us of like not really knowing who the winner is going to be or like what tools are best for what. Like it's going to evolve, but like jumping in and out of whatever the latest shiny thing is, is usually not a good strategy. So I usually tell most people who ask me about this stuff to just kind of ignore most of the news that you hear. Give it a little time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my main thing.
Otherwise, you'd be like, you'd be using Periscope and Vine right now.
Vine's coming back. I don't know.
Oh, is
They're
it?
like, okay, like there's a whole thing with that. There's a whole there's like a whole
up?
thing right now. You want me to go into it real quick? Like it's a whole weird
Sure.
fucking new world thing. So the guy who used to own Vine, and he sold it to Twitter, like I don't know, forever ago, like a decade ago. He sold it for like 30 million. And it eventually didn't work out. Twitter shut it down. So technically Elon Musk owns it. A lot of
it's like 6-second videos. Wasn't that what Vine was?
Videos. I thought Vine was hilarious. I loved Vine. I didn't do anything on Vine. I didn't make Vines. I just watched people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. So recently I saw people talking about it. A bunch of people that work at Twitter started asking questions about Vine to the people that follow them. So some of them are like their own little micro celebrities anyway. They're like developers at Twitter, but everyone knows. So, and they start like, what do you think videos on Vine were 6 seconds were long enough or should they be longer? And there's a bunch of people doing that, a bunch of developers doing that. And I didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden the guy who owned Vine before launched a cryptocurrency called Vine and then keeps hinting at it coming back. And Elon Musk has talked about it a couple times over the last year that he's considering bringing it back with the whole TikTok thing going on. I think instead of buying, because people have been like, Elon should buy TikTok. That's very expensive when you can, like, you already have this massive social network. If you could just take Vine, reactivate it, and then add all of the features that made TikTok popular into your own thing, it seems like a better deal for you than spending.
Well, I heard this week that Microsoft is the leading contender to buy TikTok.
So that would be
that
would impact LinkedIn probably a way. I know Mr. Beast was trying to buy it with a bunch of billionaires who have like joined in like to make a bid together, and he would be like the face because he's a celebrity.
Does Microsoft own LinkedIn? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
cool.
Yeah, because I bet if Microsoft bought it, there is an opportunity to take over TikTok, to reinvigorate Vine and replace TikTok with.
Well, that's
who
interesting.
knows. I mean, it's like what was Periscope? It was like live streaming, right?
Something like that, yeah. Or more recently, a few years ago, it was Clubhouse. And then my point is, these things come and go.
Is Clubhouse gone now too?
I think so.
That was like a huge thing for a bit, where everyone's like, "I got an invite to Clubhouse."
I never understood.
People were big on it for a while. People were big on it, yeah.
Because I just don't want to listen. I don't want to just listen to audio like rooms of people that I can't see. I'd much rather do a video.
Yeah. Apparently, the guy, I read some story. I don't know the numbers, but like when Clubhouse was like really blowing up, which was sometime around COVID time. Like the guy who the founder got like a huge offer to sell and did not sell, and then like the app just kind of fizzled out after that, and it's like I think now he wishes.
I never understand why people don't. I remember like years ago, And I get it. Like some people, like when you have an app and it's like,
Yeah.
well, like someone's offering you $400 million. Like, well, if I
Yeah.
keep it in 5 years, it may be worth $1 billion. Or it might not be, bro. Like,
Well-
I just take the 400 million. You're smart.
Yeah. I mean, the people with the
Yeah.
Instagram
I'd take
sold to
the 4
Facebook
billion.
for about $1 billion.
Yeah.
So pretty good deal for the founders of Instagram there to, you know, cash out at that. But, you know, Mark Zuckerberg famously declined an offer from Yahoo that was pretty substantial in the earlier days of Facebook and has gone. I mean, that turned out to be a pretty good
Maybe, but
decision.
now he's like harassed
Well,
everywhere he goes.
depends.
His life would probably be substantially better.
Yeah, but he wanted to create a much
Yeah.
bigger thing, and like this is, you know, he wouldn't want to just sell for 500 million and ride off into the sunset. He wanted to create a big fucking
Just
thing.
my personal,
you know?
I feel like my personal
that.
hell would be to be Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg in their situation where everything you do is so amplified and everyone is just like looking for ways to take you
Those
down.
guys are built
Yeah, I
different.
guess so.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that either, but those guys are just built different. You know, they're just wired differently than you and me. But I agree.
No,
I
someone's
wouldn't
like,
wanna do
here's
that
two,
shit
you can
either.
have
That's a
$200
lot of
million in
pressure.
your life's awesome forever, or you can have $1 billion and it's going to be hard as shit forever. You know,
Well, like Tom from MySpace,
Yeah.
you know, he sold at the perfect time and rode off into the sunset. And like now I follow him on Instagram. He's into photography. He just posts like pictures of places
yeah, and
from
he's
around
probably
the
made
world.
tons of money from just like having investments and doing things in the back end that nobody knows about. And he just goes around, travels the world,
Who
takes
knows?
pictures, has an awesome life.
Yeah.
Or you could be like getting grilled by Congress about whether your app, you know, your software is going to
Yeah.
steal their kids' secrets or something. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Take the travel
yeah,
around
dude,
the
that's what I'm
world.
talking
Thank you.
about. I bet you're right. The people
What-
are built
what-
different. Some of them it's about like legacy and like
Yeah, they just want there's so driven that it's like, what's next? Like if you look at like Bill Gates, you know, like what more could that guy want to do? But he's still out there trying to get people to eat bugs and stuff, you know? I don't know what he's I don't know
What's
what
it?
exactly.
Do you know, Josh, what MySpace sold for? Just out of curiosity.
I think Tom got a few hundred million. I don't know exactly.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah. But he sold at the right time. And then that whoever took it over, you know, wasn't able to like capitalize on the momentum. And it just, you know, as you know, it's I believe it still
900
exists, but
million.
it's- Ooh,
Yeah.
Tom. Nice.
Well, dude, I don't know. Like I gotta verify that's right because it popped up. I just realized it popped up in the search.
And we can all three say we were friends with
Or
Tom at one
580
point.
million, maybe. I don't know. There's all these blogs have different
Yeah.
things. Either way, 500 plus million.
Yeah.
That and it sounds.
It's great.
I would love to have nothing to do and 500 million. That would sound so fucking awesome.
I'd have nothing to do in
I would
500,000.
I would still do things probably.
Yeah.
Like have businesses or have ideas of trying to make money just because it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's fun. But like man, just that
Yeah.
level of freedom would be
Mhm.
amazing.
You don't need 500 or 900 to achieve that level of freedom. You can create whatever terms you want for your life wherever you're at right now. But
Yep.
you know, we all box ourselves into thinking like I got to do X, Y, and Z, pay the bills, or this or that, and a lot of that stuff's real. But you know, you get to make choices of how you structure your life. Tim's a good example of somebody who has a lot of freedom in his life.
Yeah,
You know, and designed it intentionally. So you can, Ryan, don't sell yourself short. You can do it. You don't need 500 million.
I'll settle for less than that. But
Yeah.
either way, I want to travel around the world and take pictures and have people be like, damn, that guy's life's cool.
Yeah.
Look, all he does is travel the world and take pictures. That's what I want is people
Right.
like that.
Just start posting pictures of places around the world, and then people will think that you
Just
do,
post a
and,
picture
you
of
know,
somewhere like some crazy place in
Yeah.
like, I don't know, in Spain.
fake
And
it
it's
till
just
you
like
make it.
in my
Yeah.
caption is I can't believe my life. That's all it's
Yeah. Well, we only got a few
Well, you
more
got-
minutes of the
sorry.
show today, and I want to make sure we get to our. I wanted to talk about something that's very timely in the world of wine, which I know a lot of people watch this show only to hear what we have to say about wine
it's true.
and the wine business and what wines we're drinking. And we usually save that discussion for the end just so that we get people to
Yeah.
watch all the rest of the stuff we talk about. And so this week, what I want to talk about is something called Berserker Day. And I'm going to put this in the chat, Ryan. You can throw this up on your screen. Okay. Wine Berserkers is a wine forum that I read on a regular basis to learn about wine and see what people are saying about all sorts of different wines. They have a thread on here called Wine Talk. That's the main one that I usually look at. And I don't read every thread. If I see stuff that is interesting to me, I'll read about it. I'm not even engaged here. Like, I've been a member of this site for years and I've never posted or had any involvement in a discussion. I just like to learn from other people. And so I spend a lot of time here reading and learning about new wines and seeing how people are cultivating their cellars and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And what they do is once a year, they do something called Berserker Day, where they have about 100 wineries who participate and offer a crazy deal for that day, which is usually a heavy discount on wines and oftentimes free shipping as well. Not always, but usually there's a free shipping as part of the offer or very low shipping. So if you go back, Ryan, to the main page, and you'll see the Berserker Day 16 forum. So this happens once a year. And this year it is this coming Friday. And it starts at 7:30 a.m. Pacific. Every hour, and so there's 100 wineries participating. I believe it's on the hour, every hour, 10 new deals are posted. And that happens then throughout the day.
Where are they posted? On their own sites?
No, in this forum. So, for example, go back.
So you've got to be a member, I assume, to be able to purchase, right?
No, you do not. No, you don't need to be a member. Go back to the main page, the first page we went to, and you should be able to scroll down to find the Berserker Day archive, which is at the bottom. And then just go to last year's Berserker Day 15. So each post, this is an archive of last year's. These offers are no good anymore. Each post so 10 posts will come out each hour. Each one is unique to that winery's offer. And so if you just pick one random one, great. So this is Valletta Wines, which is out of Spain. And then you can see what kind of offer they have. They have free shipping as part of it. And then if you scroll down a little more, you'll see that they've got some different offers on different packages and, special promotions and stuff like that. I've actually had some of their stuff from a Berserker Day purchase from a few years ago. Last year, what I focused on, because I'm starting to figure out what I like and what I don't. A lot of my focus last year was on stuff from Oregon and a few cool things from California from producers that I know and trust and like. But all of these people are vetted and super legit, and they don't make it in unless a panel has tasted the wines and kind of vetted them and said, yeah, this is going to be a good fit. This year they only have 6 newbies, so 94 of the 100 offers are from producers and wineries who have sold in the past. Yeah, so the community has been behind a lot of these people for a long time, and it's good stuff. So you'll find a lot of great deals on a lot of wines that are really high quality and unique and cool stuff. One that I would really recommend everybody purchase this year is a winery that's in Tim's area somewhere, Sabelli Frisch. And Tim, I know I've told you about the work that they're doing before, but they'll have an offer here that'll be probably $130 for a case of 12 of their wines, and it'll be free shipping as well, and it'll be wines that they normally sell for $30 a piece. So it's you're getting a really significant
$11
discount.
a bottle.
Text me a link. Whenever you're like, if you see something that knocks your socks off, Josh, you're like, damn, bro, this is good.
Yeah, put it in our group chat, please, because that's this Friday, right? Okay.
Yeah, you guys can do your own work.
No.
All right. It starts at 9:30 a.m. Central on Friday, 7:30 a.m. Pacific. Just pop in there. If you got a question about something that's of interest to you, then let me know. Otherwise, I'll tell you, I know I'm going to buy the Sabelli Frisch offer this year. Goodfellow. I'm going to buy something from Goodfellow, Extra Dimensional Wine Co., and Shiba Wichern, which is an Oregon Pinot Noir. And they make other stuff too, but Pinot primarily.
Sabelli Frisch. It looks
so those.
Cool. I just looked up because I wanted to see I knew how to spell it. Their bottles are awesome looking.
Yeah, they're doing good stuff. They have great. His whites. Some people rave about his whites. I'm not totally bought in on his whites yet. I haven't had one that really blew me away, but his reds are phenomenal, and they're really unique varietals. So one of the grapes that he makes wine out of is called Mission, which apparently is a grape that has been used in California for a long time, like 100 years. But it kind of fell out of favor, and so like almost no one makes it now. But he makes it in a style like it's delicious wine, and his Zinfandels are amazing as well. They're
is this still Sabelli really Fish, Josh?
They're his Sabelli Frisch. His Zinfandels are really drinkable. They're not the kind of Zins that you like. Most people are accustomed to now, which are more like jammy, richer. His are a little lighter in style, and to me, much more delicious. So check it out. Berserker Day 16 on January 31st, and good place to get some good values and try some new wines.
Is the spelling of Sabelli up there?
Sabelli.
S-A. Cool. Thanks, buddy.
If anyone's curious.
Yeah. Oh, 2 L's.
Look at this bottle, though. This works for me. I don't know. Yeah. I like the way that
nice. His Syrahs are really nice as well. Again, he's producing wine in like he's not adding stuff in them to make them bigger and more sweet and like more alcohol and stuff. They're more on the elegant side, I would say, and which I prefer.
Look at this chunky boy too. I love these. The vibe of this place is good, just from the design.
Yeah, it's nice, and this is just a guy. Dude? It's just a guy, Adam Frisch, and that's not him.
Let's say that guy. That'd be crazy. This guy came up with all this.
Maybe he's got a helper. But yeah, you can follow him on Instagram too. He has a lot of great videos of like behind the scenes of his operation. That's him. And it's just one guy making the wines. He does. I don't know that he has any of his own vineyards. So he's going out and buying grapes from specific vineyards though. So most of his stuff is single vineyard, which is nice. And then he's doing all the production of wine from there after buying the grapes. But yeah, really, I don't know how he's doing it, but this is like a passion project for him for sure, because his wines are priced so reasonably. And then the Berserker Day pricing is just insane. So I always try and support what he's doing. I've ordered from him 3 or 4 times.
Love it. All right. I'm going on Friday.
Get in on it, and you guys feel free to text me. I got a busy day Friday, but if you got a question about anything you see on there, definitely hit me up.
I'm gonna buy something. We talked enough about it on here for me to get amped about it. It's like Wine Black Friday, but for those in the know.
Yeah. Right. Last year they did over 2 million in sales.
Damn, that's awesome.
So that's that's a lot of wine. I don't know what their arrangement is with the sellers, but I don't think so.
Or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think it's a huge windfall for wine berserkers. But they have premium memberships. You don't need one; you can just have a free account on Wine Berserkers. But they have premium memberships that give some extra. Like I have one of their memberships that I pay for just because I want to try and support them, because I read their website like every other day. So it's like, I don't know, $50 a year or something that I give them, but that gives me early access to some of the deals and stuff like that. So they make a little money with stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Tim, we'll save your song of the day for next time,
perfect,
buddy.
Perfect. Yeah, no, all good.
All right, guys. We did it again.
And I just signed up for Berserkers. I'm very excited.
Good. Here we go. We'll see you guys next
Cheers,
time.
all. Have a great day.